Welcome back, adventurers, to Let's Play Resident Evil Real Survival. This is going to be a bonus video instead of part 2. The reason being that normally for first-time players, they would go to explore this room here upon reaching this part of the corridor. Doing so will actually lead to a classical scene by which many Biohazard veterans are almost certainly familiar with. But doing so will mean that one will not have access to other alternative scenes later on in the game. And I actually want to explore those alternative events because they actually add a bit more depth to the overall atmosphere of Biohazard or Resident Evil. Also, I should mention that while there is an options screen here in Biohazard, there is actually no way to pause the game in the original Resident Evil, because they didn't put one in for some reason. However, they changed this from Biohazard 2 onwards. Now, if you're wondering why I'm referring to Resident Evil as Biohazard most of the time, it is out of respect to the series creator Shinji Mikami, who actually disliked the decision to rename it Resident Evil, as he felt it didn't capture the original intention of what he was trying to do. However, they didn't really have much of a choice, considering the fact that Biohazard was already copyrighted by a musical band outside of Japan, specifically in America. But we can actually configure the controls here. I'm not going to do that. We can also configure the sound to stereo and mono, but we're not going to do that. In order to access the options menu, you have to actually press start and select at the same time. But that's enough standing around. Let us explore this corridor. This is actually a very interesting camera angle, and this room appears to be rather worn. There are certain weird kind of scrape marks on each of the four corners of the walls. Now, I am of course playing this on an emulator. I do have a capture card, an Elgato capture card, but my setup is not suitable to record for physical reasons rather than hardware or software reasons. I'm only mentioning the fact that I'm using an emulator because on EPSXE, which is not the emulator I'm using PSX to record this. But on other emulators, there would actually be a graphical glitch on the screen that will almost certainly cause epilepsy, which goes away when we leave that camera angle, and we never return to that camera angle ever again. I like the fact that Resident Evil has third-person static camera angles, as it allows for a unique type of atmosphere that wasn't really known in 1996. Well, there was Alone in the Dark 4 years before, but that's not really the same. So let's go in here. Appears to be another sitting room of some kind. We did actually visit this place as Chris, so should already be familiar with this. I'm not really spoiling anything in that regard if you followed my previous Let's Play videos. But there is the shotgun, an important weapon for Jill Valentine. It's very powerful, very useful for getting rid of zombies and other enemies that will probably be lurking, probably useful against the dogs as well. But heard that clicking sound over there. Hopefully nothing should happen. Then again, we can never trust what is in this mansion. And speak of the devil, That is the reason for the graphical glitch, is that ceiling, that falling ceiling. And unfortunately we can't go back inside, and we cannot leave. This is most unfortunate. We're stuck, and we have no way to reset this trap. So basically,
Hey, what's going on?
Jill?
oh hey,
Is that
it's
you,
Barry.
Jill? What happened?
Barry, help me please. The door won't open. Quick!
Anytime soon would be
Stay
nice.
away from the door, Jill. I'm gonna kick this door down.
Hurry! This way!
Luckily that ceiling is very slow moving, which is very fortunate of us.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Best
You're
line in
right.
the universe.
Barry, thanks for saving my life. But Barry, didn't you say you're going back to the dining room to do some research? Why on earth are you here?
I just had something I wanted to check. Now, let's get back to searching for the lost captain and Chris, shall we?
Bit of emulation glitch there.
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
And off he goes. Thanks to Barry Burton's help, we now have the shotgun without ever having to find the broken shotgun. But we can never go back into this room ever again because of the ceiling that is now obstructing the doorway. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, doing this will actually alter the outcome of certain events later on. And I decided to do this as a bonus feature, and of course it wouldn't be Resident Evil if we didn't have the infamous Jill sandwich line. People, it has been said to be the worst line in video game history. I disagree. It is the best worst line in video game history, bar none. So that's it for the bonus video, adventurers. When we return, we shall be picking up where we left off in the previous video, which means the next video will be part 2. Once again, I leave you until next we meet.